Hi and welcome back. Today's mitzvah is a brief one, and before I discuss it though, I would like to give you a little bit of a sense of navigation, where we're headed. We have been discussing mitzvahs, although really, probably more precisely, we've been discussing positive commandments until now. I remind you that this wonderful work, The Concise Book of Mitzvahs, which you can find in any Jewish bookstore, by the way, so this is the Chafetz Chaim writing on which mitzvos of the 613 commandments apply to us in our current situation. He was living outside the land of Israel, although there is a supplement, commandments that are contingent upon the land of Israel. But what he's really doing is he's outlining the positive and negative commandments that apply nowadays. So the total will never reach 613. As a matter of fact, there are 77 positive commandments that are applicable nowadays. And as I turn the pages, there's obviously a lot more negative ones. 194 of them, to be precise. So between the two of them, if I do a little quick math, that's 271 mitzvos out of 613. This tells you something about the centrality of the land of Israel religiously for the Jewish people. So we're up to mitzvah number 73 of the positive commandments. There are only 77 positive commandments. So we'll be getting into negative commandments, which will bring us back to a number of very familiar subjects starting next week. Sometime next week. Okay, let's go to mitzvah number 73, to render judgment about heritages. Let's take a look inside. Not a lot to say here, just a little bit, be something worth noting. It is a positive commandment to render judgment about heritages, inheritance of landed property. As scripture says, if a man dies and has no sons, then you shall transfer his inheritance to his daughter. However, a son has priority over a daughter, and all one's male descendants have priority over a daughter. A daughter and all her male descendants take priority over the dead man's father, for those of you keeping track of this family tree. Included in this commandment is the rule that a firstborn son is to inherit a double share of the legacy, and a husband inherits his wife's property by the law of the sages, taking precedence over all others in her legacy. It is in effect everywhere, in every time. Just a brief note here about the double portion that goes to the firstborn. This is significant. It's a Torah commandment. It's a significant one to give double portion. This, I don't know what to say about this. It's a very difficult mitzvah at times because it basically gives entire priority to sons over daughters. This is something that certainly can rankle some sensitivities, and I think we should acknowledge that fact. I was the youngest, so this never applied to me, but it does seem to me, to strike me that, you make all your mistakes on your first kid, so maybe it's only fair that they get the double portion. But that's not really what the origin is. The origin is from the fact that in the ancient world, the firstborn son was the son that mattered, the one that was assumed to take a position of leadership. The fact that the brothers are so upset with Joseph has everything to do with the fact that, what do you mean you're not the firstborn? You're the firstborn of Rachel, but you're not the firstborn. So that's part of the tension there. But again, in the ancient world, the firstborn, as a matter of fact, before the sin of the golden calf, the firstborn were to be the Kohanim, were to be the priests of the Jewish people. So primogeniture, I believe, is the right of primogeniture. I believe I got that word right. But anyway, the right of the firstborn is something which is well established in the Torah, although it has been through rabbinic law as well as subsequent developments in the Torah, but it has been sort of modified and softened, the role of the firstborn. But it's still considered to be something of significance, obviously, in halacha, in Jewish law. Okay, next time, the positive commandment of sending away from the nest, shiluach hakein, sending away the mother bird before you take the children. We'll have a lot to say about this. This has everything to do with, among other things, I should say. It doesn't have anything to do with it, but among other things, has a lot to do with concern for the environment and sustainability. But we'll talk about that next time. Thanks for being with us.